All right, hey everyone, welcome back to No Textbook for Life. This episode is a special one because I am officially 1 year postpartum from my second baby, and she is officially one. So that is exciting for me and for her, and I guess for all of us. And I am here to talk about the struggles of postpartum, because it is such a journey and it's so different for everybody. Um, I mean, not just women, right? Because sometimes, like men, you got to be involved with your wife's emotions and ups and downs, and you got this baby you got to take care of too. So, this is for everybody, and I'm just excited to dive into it. And when I look back at this year, honestly, it has been one of the hardest and most eye-opening years of my life. But it's also been one full of lessons about healing, asking for help, mental health, faith, and what it really takes to recover after bringing a precious little baby into the world. So, whether you're a new mom, a partner, or just someone trying to understand the postpartum season better, and this podcast episode is for you. Because, hey, everyone that's postpartum, I mean, we're kind of going through the same thing, right? So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the first few weeks right after I had my second baby. And a little preface, I had a home birth, and it went really well. Things went good. I just bled a little bit more than my midwife was happy with and had a pretty severe tear. Other than that, it was a good experience. And, when I think back to those first days after giving birth at home, I do remember feeling both strong, but also super fragile at the same time. I couldn't move around much. And that meant I had to let people help me, which I am not very good at asking for help. But, my husband, my mom, my in-laws, my friends, everyone stepped in. Not only that, like people from a church and our neighbors brought us meals and gifts, and they were super awesome. And my husband, he really had to do quite a bit that first week. He took care of the baby, our older child, and me as well. And this taught me something powerful. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It's actually an act of strength and love. Because when you let others help, you give them a chance to show up for you. And you're giving them an opportunity to serve. And that's important in life, is to serve others. So here's a little partner takeaway. If you're a partner listening, the best thing you can do for a new mom isn't always fixing or solving things. It's presence. It's noticing what she needs before she asks. It's giving her space to rest, to cry, to not have to carry it all. Because recently I've seen a lot of posts about the mental load on women, and especially moms. And if you can just help take some of that mental load off, then she'll be a whole new woman. And the life lesson here is that we weren't meant to do motherhood alone. Community is not a luxury, it's survival. And I do feel extremely blessed that I have my community, and there's a reason they say it takes a village. And I have felt that with this second pregnancy and second birth, and I don't think, I know for a fact I could not have gotten through it without having everyone here supporting me. So, around the time that my baby was a few months old, I did hit a wall emotionally. I was exhausted, sad, and there were moments where I didn't want to be here anymore. I was struggling with postpartum depression, and suicidal ideation was something I never imagined I'd face, or even postpartum depression, but I did. And I'm sharing that because I know someone listening probably feels the same way right now. And so this is what I did. I started therapy in March because that's when things were getting really, really rough, and stayed consistent through June. And that did change quite a bit for me. It gave me a safe space to say the things I couldn't say out loud at home. And it gave me tools that I needed to help me mentally and emotionally and to understand what was happening with me. It reminded me that what I was feeling wasn't my fault. And here's a fact: 1 in 7 women experience postpartum depression. And it's not about being ungrateful or not loving your baby. It's about hormones, exhaustion, trauma, and the massive life shift you've just gone through. And honestly, like I said, like my home birth was great and wonderful. And yet I do feel a little traumatized from having a natural birth. It was honestly traumatizing. Like the pain is rough, and you're in shock when that baby finally comes out. But that is something you need to work through. And if your partner is postpartum, listen without judgment. Offer breaks. Remind her she's not failing, she's healing. Okay, so partners out there, if you got a postpartum wife, make sure you're helping her out because she needs it. And she might not be saying it, but just be on the lookout, okay? So all that happened. Then in July, I found out that my thyroid was underactive. Basically, it wasn't working properly. So I already had all these hormone issues strictly from pregnancy, and now my thyroid wasn't working on top of that. But this was great because suddenly things started to make sense. I was extremely tired, so the fatigue, the depression, the brain fog, that was bad. The weight, the anxiety. I started thyroid medication, and slowly my mood started to stabilize. I could remember things better. Like my brain fog was so bad, I forgot how to drive twice. And that was another lesson for me. Sometimes what we think is emotional is actually physical. Your body and your mind are connected. You can't heal one without the other. And here is a fact for moms: thyroid issues are actually pretty common postpartum, and they can mimic depression or anxiety. If something feels off, it's worth asking your doctor to check your thyroid. And I realized I needed to ask my doctor because I put in all like a huge list of symptoms that I was feeling, like extreme hair loss, extreme fatigue, extreme depression, da 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 da. And I sent that to ChatGPT. And they told me, like, you should get your thyroid checked out. That was the first thing they told me to do. So I contacted my doctor, and yep, that was the issue. So, I mean, if things aren't looking up for you, check your thyroid because it's pretty common. So over the past few months, I've realized how much consistency affects my mental health. When I pray regularly, that's such a hard word for me to say. When I write in my gratitude journal, when I move my body, eat better, and make time to go to the temple, I feel grounded. But when I stop doing those things, even for a day, and especially like a week, I start to slip again. My sleep gets worse, my stress skyrockets, and I feel extremely disconnected. It's not about being perfect, it's about coming back to what helps you function. But man, I have perfectionism bad. So it is so hard for me to like get started again. Because for me, I feel like I have to start perfectly. So that it's something I am working on. But the life lesson here is that healing isn't linear. It's rhythm. You fall off, you come back, you stop, you restart. And that's okay. And that's most likely going to happen anyways. And here is a practical tip for moms. Make your wellness check-ins as simple as asking, have I eaten, moved, prayed, or rested today? Tiny habits build the foundation for emotional strength. And my husband even wrote up this little check-in list because of how bad I was doing. He would ask, did you get enough sleep? Did you eat? Did you move your body? And and water. Have you had any water today? Because like I said, my emotions were a roller coaster, and he was on the ride with me. So he was doing whatever he could to figure out what was wrong and how he could help. Usually it was food and sleep. But you know what? Now that I'm year postpartum, I can say that this year broke me in ways I didn't expect. But it also built me into someone stronger, softer, and more self-aware. I've learned that healing takes help, faith, and patience, that mental health is as real as physical health, and that motherhood isn't supposed to look perfect. It's supposed to be real. And if you're in that dark or heavy space right now, please don't give up. Get help, talk to someone, and keep showing up for yourself. It really can get better. And I will just kind of go over some of the things that I've been trying to do recently. So, like I said, I have been so up and down and all over the place. And any little inconvenience can really just throw me off. And man, I am really learning and trying to work on my reactions to certain things. For example, we had to get a new tub, and during our bathroom renovation, the floorboards ended up having to get peeled up and, found mold. We had to redo all that, had to redo this. And that just threw me off my groove because I had to go stay at my in-laws for 4 days when we're only supposed to stay there for maybe one. And that just, man, it derailed me bad. And I felt like I was slipping right back where I was that first few months after I gave birth. And this is what got me out of that funk, which there's been several times this past year where this has happened, where I've been derailed and I started doing something that got me back on pace. But I want to say that the most consistent thing that I have found that usually puts me in a better mood and puts me back on track has been some kind of exercising. Usually I will start an exercise program on YouTube, and that immediately helps improve my mood, gets me back on track, I sleep better. And so for this instance, I mean, it was this week. I was in a dark place over the weekend until Monday, just going back and forth from my home, my in-laws, still having tons of plans. Like, life still goes on when you have to renovate a bathroom. And so what got me out of that, Debbie Downer situation, was exercising. And so Tuesday, as a gift to myself for being 1 year postpartum, I went to a fitness studio and worked out for an hour with other women, along with a instructor, and I had so much fun. It was a lifting class, and I loved it so much that I booked a class for the next day and the day after that. And I will say it has kicked my butt though. Went lifting, next day Pilates, next day high fitness, which was just a ton of jumping. But yeah, that did it for me. My mood has been lifted. I've been able to clean my house, play with my girls, and not be so reactive to the little things that happen in life, all because I moved my body earlier that day. And I really appreciate that. I also feel like a lot of that has to um like the improving of my mood is also probably because I was with other adults. Sometimes the only other adult I see is my husband or my mom later in the evening, and usually I'm with my two girls in the morning, all morning, and then I go and I babysit three other kids, so I have five kids for the rest of the day, and then I see my mom and husband, and I don't really have any other like connection with anybody else. And I am more of a social being. I need that connection with other people. And because of this fitness group, I get to chat with other moms, and the instructors are super kind. So it has been, pretty life changing finding this fitness studio, and uh, they it's actually referred to me by another mom who was in early stages of postpartum as well. So I was grateful for that. And there's just so much that has happened this past year that I want to get into and talk about. But for this episode, I'm going to leave it there. And I think I will do another episode where I bring my husband in and get his side of the story when it comes to postpartum. Obviously, he's not in that postpartumness, but like he's a witness to it. And I know it's been hard on him too, because like there's not a ton he can necessarily change about the fact when you're postpartum. But there's a lot that partners can do to help, and I think that's something that that they might not know is how to help. And as women, sometimes we don't want to accept help and have a hard time expressing what we need. And I know that I did until I got therapy. Like, I just did not know what I needed. And my therapist helped me to understand, first of all, what I was feeling. And second of all, like, how to talk to my husband and tell him what I needed. Um, So there's a lot of tools that you can learn just from therapy, as well as, I know therapy can be expensive. Reaching out to a friend is pretty helpful. Sometimes you just need to talk things through. Journaling really helps. I know for me, like, I can't collect my thoughts well, but journaling helps me like get it out on paper and figure things out that way. I also like to just rant to ChatGPT. I know that's kind of crazy to say, but that has helped a lot for me to like use ChatGPT as like my therapist as well. Because it can give you tools too. It's AI. So I wouldn't say depend on AI, but use it as one of those tools. And yeah, I think we should wrap it up there. Thanks for listening to No Textbook for Life. And thanks for letting me just kind of chat about my 1 year postpartum. And it's a super big milestone for me. And I have learned a lot. And I'm just trying to get to a point where I feel like myself again and I can show up better for my family, for myself, etc., especially when it comes to my kids. And yeah, so there will be several more parts that have to do with postpartum and etc. So I want to hear your input about your postpartum experience. Not only as a mom, but if you are a partner to a mom who is going through postpartum, like what have you found helps them and yourself? I mean, it can't be easy for anybody involved, right? So I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. And you can also find the video version and more on my YouTube channel, Modern American Mama. Anyways, I'll see you next Friday. And congratulations, you survived another episode of No Textbook for Life.